Hello everyone, this video is going to go over the drama genre modules. So we'll go over 3 modules and hopefully I'll get through all 3 of them in this video. So our last genre of writing is drama, and that's chapter 4, writing the play. The chapter is fairly long because it has 2 examples in it. You can kind of skim through those plays to see what they look like, and then there's information after those 2 examples as well, with a lot of vocabulary terms. Playwriting is more difficult. I think it's probably the most difficult of the 4 genres that we're covering in this class because most students just haven't had any experience with it. So writing a play is sort of like combining poetry, because it's highly structured and highly formatted, and short story because you're writing it out in a plot format. However, it's not like either one of those, because the only thing that you have to tell the story with is dialogue. So you're actually writing a script for people to perform, which means you only have half of what the finished product would look like, because the script that you create is not necessarily going to be, it might not be exactly how it is on the page when it's performed. So you have to kind of envision what it might look like as you are writing it. But the only way to carry the story is through the spoken words of the characters. So be looking at all of these examples in the textbook for how to portray a plot, as well as a conflict and conflict resolution through dialogue itself. So you'll read the chapter and take the chapter 4 quiz in module 12. So this is the first of our 3 modules. Then you get the 10-minute play assignment. A 10-minute play is roughly a 1-act play, and so it's a little bit longer. You'll have quite a few pages more than you did for your other genres, which is why there's only 1 play assignment. So you are just writing the 1 play for the entire drama unit. You have 3 modules or 3 weeks to do this. So in order to complete the play, you want to make sure that you have 2 characters and that you have a conflict and a plot. So we're thinking about like a story, a narrative story, what's going to happen on your story arc and how is it going to be resolved at the end. There's some ideas here for how to create a plot for your play. Just make sure that you are not basing things off of existing movies or TV shows. You can't just take an episode from your favorite TV show and then turn it into a script. That's not an original. So make sure that you're doing that. You'll use dialogue tags as well as stage directions, and those are the only other ways to portray information for your reader and tell us what it looks like. However, you don't want to use them too heavily, because we want the actors and the director to be able to make some of those choices themselves. The other thing that you're going to include is a list of characters and a description of the setting before the play, before the script starts. So you'll see the formatting in the textbook is the one I want you to follow. So once you've looked through this and you kind of have an idea for your play, I've got some more information here on how to put the play together, as well as an example of a 1-act. So watch this, it'll be really helpful for you. Then you're going to create your plan. Your plan is basically answering these 7 questions. So you just go open up a Word document and answer out the 7 questions with as much information as you can give me at this point. So it's just pre-writing for your play. You're not actually writing the play yet. And then you're going to submit it and wait for my feedback so that you can finish the play. So you want to make sure that you get this done early, otherwise you won't get any feedback, and then you won't know whether or not the plan that you have for your play will actually work. If you change a major part of your plan, if you change a couple of little things, it's not a big deal, but if you change like the whole plot or the characters or something, make sure that you either submit this plan again or you email me so that you know that you're on the right track. So that's the module. It's just the pre-writing for your play. So you're going to do your plan, and then the self-assessment quiz is how you will score your plan. Don't forget to keep posting in the journal. Some of you have kind of quit doing that. You want to have, by the end of the semester, you should have 14 to 16 posts. So you don't want to have to do all of those in the last module. So the other thing so once you're done with module 12, you can move on to 13. In 13, there's no assignment for the play itself, but I expect you to keep working on it. So it's kind of a buffer module, if you will, so that you have enough time to continue writing the play and you don't feel too rushed to finish it. But there's not an assignment where you're turning in anything related to the play. So the readings, though, are in here. I do have 2 sample plays that I want you to read from the textbook so that you get some more ideas of how a play should be structured and how you can create a plot and everything using just dialogue. Then I have some links in here about literary magazines. And so there's 2 websites. This one you'll have to click right here on the title to access it. And then you're going to complete the literary magazine discussion board. So this module is devoted to publishing. And a lot of students have questions at the end of the semester about getting their work published. And so this is just to kind of explore what's out there. The majority of writers first start out by publishing something short in a literary magazine. And a literary magazine is just a collection of submitted work. Sometimes the submitted work is a result of a contest of some kind, and sometimes it's just the submissions that were sent in. Most major universities have their own literary magazines, and then there are national and international literary magazines that are highly prestigious, and the people who are published in them are actually famous writers who have written novel-length works that are published as well. So what you're going to do is you can Google literary magazines if you want to, but just kind of poke around, and you can use those links as well, and find a literary magazine that interests you, or one that you think that might be helpful for you to publish to, or try to publish to, or or ones that kind of match what you're interested in. So there are, for example, there are horror fiction literary magazines, or fantasy literary magazines. So they're kind of not only just the genre of the writing, but also the genre of the type of writing that you like to do. So you can look for that as well. Then you're going to answer the 5 questions about your literary magazine that you've chosen. Obviously, you want to give us the title and the sponsor and publish it, and the publisher, and give us the URL as well so that we can access it. Make sure that you're not posting the same magazine as someone else. So if someone has already done that one, try to find a different one. We want all different magazines. And you can always create your post with the title and the URL, and then leave it like that and go back and edit it later so that you can save yours if you want. And then you're just going to give us information about how often it publishes, and whether it's only accessible online or if they actually print copies. And what genres they publish and that kind of thing. So you can answer all of these questions. When you're done, then you'll look for 2 of your peers' magazines. So try to get your initial post done fairly early so your peers can respond, and you'll respond to each of their posts. In the response, you need to include additional information about the publication that was not said yet. One of the things that I think would probably be most helpful would be to just look and see what kinds of submissions they have that you have access to, and then see if you can read them, and kind of tell us what you think about the submissions that are up there on their website. But you could also look at the publication itself, if there's awards that it's won, that kind of thing. And so anything that the author of the original post in the discussion board did not include can be included here. So that's our publishing assignment for the class. Self-assessment quiz will assess your discussion board and everything. So that is kind of our filler module, if you will, so that you have time to continue working on your 10-minute play, which means module 14 is where you're actually going to submit the 10-minute play. So most of the module is just resources. I've got a couple of videos linked in here for you, a PowerPoint about dialogue. I do have a PowerPoint video, I think it's linked back here. I'll probably try to link it down here for the resources as well. That's my just a lecture video on writing a play, because I think it's in chapter 4, writing a play. And it's just because sometimes students they don't really know where to start, and so you kind of walks you through step by step how to create a play. It's a difficult genre to write in, so don't be surprised if you're spending more time on this one than you did for all three, poems or short stories combined. So the 10-minute play submission is right here. Then just a reminder of what you need to include, and make sure you look back at this 10-minute play assignment. Remember, it should be, if you actually performed this on a stage, and it does need to be something that could be performed on a stage, it should be roughly 10 minutes. That's a lot of dialogue. So you're looking at 4 or 5 pages typed out at least of dialogue. So, and it takes a longer stretch of the page just because you are doing individual lines of dialogue, and one dialogue might be, hey. So there may be really short lines that you're including. And then, of course, once you're done with that, once you finish your 10-minute play and you've submitted it, make sure that you take the quiz. Now, you'll notice that Module 14, all the assignments are due May 1st. May 1st, if you remember from the syllabus, is the last days to submit any new work for the class, because at this point, I don't have time to provide feedback. So if you are still back working on short stories that you haven't submitted the entire semester, May 1st is the last day to do that. I have the assignments in Module 14 open until the next day, just for those of you who are, at COL115 p.m. and you didn't get it submitted, but otherwise make sure that everything is submitted by May 1st. So hopefully you're doing okay. We have 2 modules after this point that are devoted to revision, not religion, revision, and that aren't any new information. We're just going to be looking at things that you have already submitted for the class. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Please reach out if you're struggling at all, and hopefully you are doing well.